Hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome in another session with Devmina. So today we will talk about cybersecurity essential, protecting against cyber threats. So let's start. So about me, my name is Ameni, and I'm a Women Techmaker Ambassador, a community leader at GDG in the campus, GDG Qatar member, and instructor at the training, and also a research master's degree student at Inetcoms Fax. So this is my LinkedIn account, and let's start. So today we will talk about three important points. The first one is what are cybersecurity threats, types of cybersecurity threats, and best practice to avoid cyber threats. What is cybersecurity in general? We talked about it last session, but we will redefine it again. So cybersecurity refers to practice what protects systems, network, and data from cyber threats. So we understand from this definition that cyber threats is the attack. So cybersecurity, we secure the system, the network, the data, etc. What are cyber threats? So cyber threats in today, it's almost 59% of the global population are using the internet. So as we can see that this make it even more important to the electronic devices to be safe and secure. Almost everyone use the internet, but from the internet we receive many attacks in many types. Cybersecurity is here to set of the practice used to protect computers and computer networks and data from malicious attacks and threats. So we can understand here the cybersecurity, the rule of it is to protect computers and computer networks from the attacks and threats. So these are often actions taken by the hackers. So here, as you can see, that the hackers can hack many things: password, email. They send a virus. They send DOS, and we can understand it after in the next slides. These are used to target computer systems and devices. They cause damage to critical data and information. How we can know that our system they attacked, etc. So it makes they cause a damage or critical data. They stole the data or make damage in the hardware or in the software in our computers or our phones, in many types of attacks. So we in this slide we will know what types of cybersecurity threats. There are many cybersecurity threats. First of these threats, we can say the malware, the pushing, man in the middle, and we will know in the next slides exactly the definition of each threat. So the distributed denial of service, the DDoS, brute force, the SQL injection, the domain name system, etc. There are many types of cybersecurity threats, and every day they create new ones, because cybersecurity, we can't attain the 100% security, but we try to save the maximum of everything. So let's start with pushing. So as you can see, pushing alert. Pushing is used to steal user data, including login details and debit or credit card numbers. So as you can see, the pushing, they stole many private informations, and the pushing is executed many through email messaging and phone calls. For example, the attacks in the social media accounts, they talk with your name, with your friends, and make many deals, etc. About the ransomware is a cyber attack that uses encryption to hold user information at a ransomware. So as you can see, they, for example, they attack the encryption of, for example, the user send an information and they stole their information. If they fail to meet the timeline in paying a ransomware detected by cyber crimes, they would lose their data. They lose their data, that they, for example, lose their money from the credit cards, etc. So this is an example of ransomware. uh, a WannaCry cyber attack. What is the WannaCry cyber attack? In the WannaCry attack, the hackers would send a malicious email to make a victim click on attachment or a website. For example, as you can see in your email, there are a box called spam. In the spam, there are a damage. For example, it's not all of them damaged, but most of them, there are, how can I say, for example, 1 or 2% that this mail will be, we can attack you. So in this mail, when you click in it or you click in a website, you will be a victim. So the ransomware uses the flaws in the Windows operation system to force it to run the ransomware code in the system. So for example, they send you an email to click in the website, so they know your IP address, and they create a fake interface, and they told you to log in, for example. And this is another type of attacks, but the main idea is when you click to the website, you will see an interface similar with, for example, YouTube or Facebook, etc. But the link is not the right link, so they stole all your informations here. So this is WannaCry cyber attack. So the WannaCry cyber attack also, here as you can see, the ransomware then encrypt or looks all the important files in the system and demand a ransomware. And the WannaCry ransomware uses the operation system flow to replace and spread around the network. So this is all the steps for this attacks. As you can see, they send you email, they give you an operation system that you can see, etc. So they stole you and encrypt looks, etc. and important files, and they stole all the important files. So yes, this is WannaCry cyber attack. So WannaCry cyber attack, there was a mistake by the hacker, and a kill switch was discovered by another hacker, which stopped the attack. So, as a countermeasure, a patch update was released by Microsoft avoid the attack in the future. So, as you can see, everyone wants to stop these attacks, but these attacks never stop. We create every day new attacks, so we try all our best to save the maximum of data. Let's talk about malware. So, what is malware? The malware is a short form of malicious software. The malware includes writing a malware code to hack a device by the hacker, and the malware is intrusive software used to cause a damage to computer and computer systems. For example, when you want to download another, for example, you have a paid application and you try to search for another one which is free, and for example, you download this file and you thought that this one is the same with the right one which is paid. So when you download it at your computer, so it will be hacked. So this is an example of malware. It malicious software in general. It attack make a damage within the software. So man in the middle attack. what is man in the middle attack? So man in the middle attacks takes place. Man in the middle attack takes place when hacker places himself in between the client and the owner. For example, the owner sent something to the client, and the man in the middle will attack the information when it will send. And yeah, the hacker can also place himself between user and the server to misinform the client. For example, um, for example, the user uh, has a key, a private key, and the client also has a private key. So the man in the middle, for example, send him a message and try to know this key from the client. And for example, the client, it will encrypt this message, decrypt this message, and from this result, it will understand if it will know the key. So this is used to get unauthorized access of data and information from both client and server. So here a schema about how it's going in this attack, man in the middle. For example, here we have a user and we have a server, and here the hacker. So man in the middle, he is the hacker. For example, here it will attack between the information that will send, for example, in the server, in the between, it will get the information before it send it to the user. So yeah, let's talk now about a Trojan horse. The Trojan horse is a malware. As you can see that we talk about the malware. So this is a type of malware program to break into the electronic and digital devices. Why is type? Because here, as you can see, electronic and digital device. The hacker discussed the malware program as a necessary software. The hacker used this to have unauthorized access to critical information and data. As you can see, when the user, for example, get this attack, it will the hacker will get all the critical information and data from the user. Let's talk about now SQL injection. So the SQL injection includes incorporating malicious data into user digital device. So SQL injection interface with exciting and SQL queries within the database. It gives hacker access to view data that is not normally allowed to retrieve. So in the SQL injection, they can get a confidential data um, from the database. So this is the SQL injection. Let's talk now about another important attack, which is DOS and DDoS attacks. So in the client server communication system, there are three-level handshakes before the data from the server is transformed to the client system. So here the client and here the server. So we have three levels that we will talk about it now. So as you can see, this is 1 and 2 and 3. So on the first handshake is the client's request to the server to load the web page, and the second one is to handshake if the server approves the client's request, and the third handshake, first device acknowledge and the server load the request. So this is the steps of DOS and DDoS attacks. So DOS and DDoS attacks, when you see 404 error, we can't find the page, the web page doesn't load, is down, or there is a lot of traffic on the site, number of the users exceed the limit the website can handle, and those attacks occur when a hacker fakes the number of the users in the website gets down. So many people see this one. So as you can see that maybe it can damage an attack. So let's talk about DOS and the DOS attack. Let's compare between them. So DOS attacks and the DOS attacks. In the first section, we have DOS attack stands for denial of the service attack, but the DOS is distributed denial of the service attack. So in those attacks, the fake requests are made by the same device, but in the DOS attack, a big network of devices create a large number of fake requests. So as you can see here, many fake requests, but here the request fake request in the same device. So this is the difference between DOS attacks and the DOS attacks. So in the DDoS attacks, big network devices created by the hacker are used that are called botnets. So these botnets create a large number of fake requests. So these botnets will be in the server, for example, and it will create many numbers of fake requests that make for example, a damage or it will attack an information, etc. So we will talk about the spear and wheel fishing. So how, for example, they fish. For example, many people they receive the messages in the WhatsApp or the Facebook, and they, for example, many people, for example, friends, etc. They told them that in this message there are a giveaway and you will get an iPhone or, for example, money, etc. So they are fishing many people. So in a spear phishing attack, a hacker user fraudulent emails or phone calls to launch a cyber attack. So in the wild phishing attack, informations of powerful and famous personalities are hacked as part of the cyber attack. So this is how phishing scam, etc. They are phishing um, many information when, for example, you enter this mail for enter this website. When you click on it, they take your information. So let's talk about drive and cyber attacks. So in the drive by attack, hackers embed malicious script into various websites. Whenever a user tries to visit the website, all the user data is accessible to the hacker. So as you can see, in the drive by cyber attack, a malicious script, for example, instead this website. So when the user tries to visit this website, all the user data will be accessible to the hacker. Spyware. So let's talk about the spyware. So the spyware is another common types of cyber attacks. As you can see, there are many cyber attacks, and these ones is the famous ones. There are many other types of attacks, but these attacks are the most famous. So the spyware is unwanted software to infiltrate into a victim computer. It uses malicious software to gain access and damage computer. So the spyware is unwanted software, for example, and filter it into a victim computer. It will be inside the computer, but the user can't see it, and it will damage the computer. For example, you can't access fluently to many other programs, or for example, you can't control you can control your computer, etc. So the adware, a hacker use a very pop up advertisement called adware, short for advertising software. Adware can become dangerous by harming your device, slowing down, hacking into the browser, and viruses. So as you can see here, the adware will attack, for example, the hardware that you can't, for example, control your computer. It will install many viruses. It hack your browser, and you know, guys, the browser is very important because you have all your accounts there. So the adware is very dangerous, and all the attacks very dangerous, but this one is one of the most dangerous ones. So let's talk about eavesdropping attack. In the eavesdropping attack, the hackers hack into electronic devices by fabricating face information. So hackers use this to gain authentication access to filter the critical information. For example, as I told you before, for example, they send you a link, and when you open it, you found Facebook, for example, and you find a login part and password part, and you thought that you enter to your account, but you send him your address and your password. So this is if it's dropping attack. So let's talk about password attack, how they attack your password. Before I explain this part, many people they repeat their password in many accounts, and their password is very easy. For example, 12345, for example, or hello world at 2025, etc. So there are many passwords that repeat for everyone. So there are accounts attempts by the hackers to obtain the login condition of the victim. As I told you, there are many passwords that repeat everywhere. So the hackers they will try to find the right password of these. So if the user don't use a strong password, they will be attacked. Hackers use different algorithms or calculate guess to obtain this password. As you can see here, they can, for example, use many algorithms to calculate guesses. They calculated and try in many types of passwords until they obtain the right one. So we will talk about what is the OZ model before we will talk about the network attacks. So when we want to send an information, we will pass with a virtual model which is OZ, which contains 7 layers. So in the first layer we found the physical ones, for example, switches, etc. So in the second layer, we find a data link. We found, for example, a data link is a node-to-node communication. We found Ethernet. So in the third layer, we found routing and addressing. For example, the IP. In this part, we found the IP address, etc. So we will pass about the transport layer. In the transport layer, we found protocols, for example, TCP, etc. And this layer is reliable data transfer. In the fifth layer, we find managed sessions between apps. So this one called a session layer, and uh, the sixth one is a presentation layer, and it is a data formatting encryption. And example of it is SSL TLS. And the last one is the application, which is user interface. For example, what you can see here is a user interface, and for example, um, some example of it, for example, DNS, HTTPS, telnet, etc. So all of these user interface that, for example, you can see. So when we send an information, we pass from all these layers, and each layer is it can be attacked. Each one we can attack from any layer. For example, we can attack physical ones. For example, we can attack the application layer. We can attack in the network layer, etc. So in the next slide, we will talk about network attacks. So in the network attacks, there are many attacks. So, for example, here, as you can see, uh, MITM, for example, as you can see here, a client, and the client want to send to the server, but there are here a hacker in the between, and the hacker will send to the server, I'm responsible to client only, for example, and the server will be repeat for. So here, as you can see, the client in the between trying to get the information from the client and the server. As you can see, also the attacks. Here, another example of attacks called rootkits. So the rootkits here, the hacker will attack, will get the information from rock door hidden in the system. So the rootlets hid themselves in some of the other process. Open user login, they activate themselves and open black door to attackers. So another types here, as you can see, the DOS here, we talked about it. So we can attack here from network. It's type of network attacks, but botnet also, it's another type of network attacks. IP spoofing here, for example, a client send, as you can see, ABC. So the hacker will reply to him as the client thought that this is the server who will reply to him, but as you can see, the hacker will send him, okay, I will note them RP codes, for example, and here the hacker will communicate with the server as he's the user. So DNS spoofing here also, we saw it, etc. DNA, DDoS, we saw it in other slides, but DNS spoofing, how, for example, here a client will send, for example, to the DNS, but we have a hacker in the between, so the hacker will communicate with the DNS as for example, here he's the client and he will communicate with DNS to take all the informations. So here, sorry, so here, as you can see, a fake server, etc. To the client will see a fake server to get all his informations. So we talked about many types of attacks. So now we will talk about the best practice to avoid cyber threats. So many practices that can help us to avoid the cyber threats. So for example, uh, keep your user data private, check your privacy settings, update your antivirus, etc. Use a strong password, scan email before opening, check your website URL before you open it. So, yes, your password is like your toothbrush. Don't share it and change it from time to time. So yeah, this is the passwords. You should always keep it secret and change it time to time to don't be attacked in with any type of attacks that we saw it in the last slides. So the best practice to avoid cyber threats, so, having user data privacy is the first step against cyber threats, and strong password reduce the chance to cyber attacks. For example, in your password, you should have uppercases, you should have numbers. For example, you have at. For example, you have and, etc. Characters, etc. When you have a strong password, you reduce the chance to the cyber attack. So this is examples to save your data. Uh, this is for, as I told you here, to the user data privacy is the first step. So when you, for example, everyone every day use, for example, ChatGPT or Gemini or any types of chatbots. So when you use these chatbots, we will share with them many private data. So these private data, uh, you can't share it because maybe one day it will share it to another one and you will be attacked. So your your private data is very important to don't share. For example, I gave you today some tips to don't write it in your prompt when you want to ask something to, for example, ChatGPT. Here, to ensure your privacy, please avoid sharing personal, sensitive, and confidential information during interactions. For example, my email is john.doa@example.com. Can you sign up me? For example, this is uh, a wrong prompt, so don't write it, please. But you can write it like this example. Can you explain how to sign up for an account? So here, for the chatbot will don't know your private data, so here you secure your data. Also, secure your data handling. Our system processes data securely and does not store personal information beyond necessary use. Example, user input will anonymize it before processing to protect your identity. So you should protect your identity, you should protect your personal data. So the user control of the data, you have the right to access, modify, or delete your data at any time. An example of prompt, would you like to review the delete your previous interaction? So your prompt is very important. Before you write any prompt, please take a moment to read your prompt and don't share your personal data. So, avoiding sensitive data sharing for securing reasons, don't share passwords, financial details, or private identifiers. Example, here my credit account, can you process my payment? So, here you share with, for example, the chatbot, your credit card account, and um, who knows, for example, maybe it will be attacked. So you can write here another example of prompt. Can you guide me on how to securely make a payment? So as you can see, your prompt make a difference. Another types is compliance and transparency. Our AI, for example, follows strict data protection policies to ensure confidentiality. Example of prompt: we comply with GDPR and other privacy regulations. Your data is not shared with parties without consent. Would you like a designed PowerPoint template with these slides? So you should be uh, you should read your prompt before you send it. So another best practice is, for example, the antivirus protect against computer viruses, malware, and the other self replacing software programs that hidden performance, and scanning email before opening them prevents any dangerous email embedded cyber threats for harming the user. And here, another best practice, for example, you check, as you can see, as I told you, before you send a prompt, etc., send anything, check your privacy settings as a first line of defense against any possible cyber attack or threats. And cross checking the website URL is very important to avoid opening any malicious website. So here some best tools. For example, here for vulnerabilities, you can use Nmap, Zenmap, SQL Map, Linux, Exploit, Suggester, MobSafe. For web application and shell, for example, you can use Nikto, Dropsite, FuseDB, and for credential and wireless, join the Ripper, Hydra, Aircar, and Hashcat. So, the best cybersecurity experts are often to hackers who know how to think like an attacker but use their skills to defend and protect. As you can see in the comment section, you will find a website called Try to Hack Me. So in this website, you can find, for example, many games and rooms that you will learn how, for example, the hacker attack to protect yourself and to know how to deal with it when when you be attacked. So now we will talk about two scenarios and how we deal with each one. For example, here the first scenario about phishing attack via email. You receive an email that appears to be from your bank asking you to confirm your account information. The email includes a link to website that looks very similar to your bank's official site. The email urgently warns you that your account will be locked until you respond immediately. So, how to deal with it? So, firstly, don't click on the link. Avoid clicking on the link provided in the mail. Phishing emails often lead to fraudulent websites that are designed to steal personal information. Verify the source content. Uh, your bank directly using the official contact details from their website or your bank card. Never use the content information provided in the suspicious email. Um, After that, look for red flags. Click the email to sign of the phishing, such as grammatically errors, uh, generic ratings like "Dear customer, don't suspicious URL." Report the incident. Notify your bank fraud department about the suspicious email, and if uh, applicable, forward the email to your bank's phishing reporting address. After that, updating your security, change your banking password, and enable two-factor authentication 2FA to enhance your security. Second scenario about the ransomware attack. You notice that your files have become encrypted and you receive a ransomware note demanding payment in the Bitcoin, for example, in exchange for a decrypting key. The ransomware note uh, threatens to permanently delete your files if payment is not made in 72 hours. So, how you deal with it? So, firstly, don't pay the ransomware. Paying the ransomware does not guarantee that your files will be restored and encourages cyber criminals to continue their attacks. Discount from the network. Immediately disconnect with the infected device from the network, Wi-Fi, Ethernet, etc. And to prevent the ransomware from the spreading to the other devices or systems, isolate the interface system. If possible, isolate the interface device to prevent further encrypting of the other files and devices. Report to authorities. Inform your local law enforcement or cyber criminal until they may have additional resources and can assist with investigating their incident. Also, you should restore from backup. If you have a secure recent backup or your files, restoring them from the backup to receive your data. Ensure that their backup are not connected to the unfaced network or device. Use decryption tools. Check for any available decrypting tools for trust cybersecurity organizations such as not more ransom and strength security measure. After dealing with the immediate attacks, review and strengthen your cybersecurity practices, including regular updating software, using strong password, and maintaining update to backup. This is steps to deal with this situation. So yeah, now let's start with the quiz time. The first question: which of the following an example of social engineering? Installing, installing a firewall, phishing emails, updating antivirus software using encryption. I will have some second to think and we will see the right answer. So the right answer is B. So, what does phishing refers to in the context of cybersecurity? A technique to encrypt sensitive emails, sending fraudulent emails to steal sensitive information, a method to blocking malicious software, or a type of password management tool. So, right answer is C, using a mix of letters, number. Sorry. The right answer, this is another answer. Okay. So the phishing is sending. The right answer is B, sending fraud emails to steal sensitive information. So, um, which of type of cyber attacks involves overwhelming a system with the traffic to make unavailable? Firstly, phishing, denial or service DOS, or ransomware, or man in the middle. So the right answer is B. And thank you so much. Thank you for joining today's session. And I hope you like it. And if you have any question, you can write in the comment section and I will reply to you anytime. Thank you so much.